Teddy, look. Teddy. Look. What happened to your water?
Hi, it's Alaska Granny. Reusing glass and plastic containers for your long-term food storage is a great way to repurpose items that you have that might end up in the recycling or the garbage, and it's also a cost-effective way to have the containers that you need for long-term food storage. How do you clean the bottles and jars for long-term food storage? If you can't get them clean enough, then they aren't going to be safe to store your food. Well, the first thing you want to do is wash them as clean as possible. I like to start with Dawn dish soap and a set of dish brushes. You can get a set of brushes that come in different sizes that can fit down long bottles, short bottles, narrow neck bottles. We might want to use jars, everything from a narrow neck avocado oil all the way up to a gallon mason jar. So one scrub brush isn't going to be suitable for all of those choices. If your brush can't reach into some little nook and cranny on your jar, give the wire a little bend until it adjusts to the area you're trying to reach on your jar or bottle. Scrub away and allow them to sit in soapy water to help remove the labels. I read that you could easily remove the label by pouring boiling water into the jar and allowing the heat from inside to remove the label on the outside. Does it work? Not for me. The label is still on there as tight as ever. You can place all of your jars and lids into your dishwasher, put it on the hottest cycle, and that will help clean and sterilize your jars. If you want to make sure that they're really sterilized or you don't have a dishwasher, fill a basin with 2 teaspoons of bleach to every gallon of water, submerge your jars and lids completely, and allow them to soak for at least 2 minutes. If you have problems removing the labels, you can try scrubbing it with some adhesive remover or make a paste out of some Dr. Bronner's Castile soap and baking soda. If you still have some residue that's stubborn and stuck in the bottom of a jar, try filling it up with some hot soapy water, put in a few grains of dried rice and shake it around and see if the rice will help be abrasive and help scrub it off for you. While you're at it, you can sanitize your vases. Fill them up with hot soapy water, add a few drops of bleach, and allow it to stand overnight, and they should be fresh and clean again in the morning. Make sure any jars that you want to reuse have a screw-on lid that's tight-fitting. It can be difficult to get strong odors out of the lid, so pay extra attention to those that you get them as clean as possible, because if the lid still smells of the sauce or pickles that were in it, that's going to leach into the food that you put in the jar. If you're not sure if it's completely cleaned, put it on tight on the jar, set it aside for a few days, then open the jar and see, does the jar still smell fresh? If not, you need to clean that lid again. What are some foods that you can store in clean glass containers? Rice, beans, oats, sugar, salt, corn, lentils, split peas, flour, pancake mix, packaged mixes. I like to take packaged mixes, put the contents of a box into a Ziploc bag, and store those together in a clean mason jar. Spices, dried fruits, dried mushrooms, potato flakes, grits, cornmeal. To last long term, the food needs to be dried foods like oatmeal, rice, and beans. Things like fruit leather, beef jerky, dried fruits, nuts, they have moisture in them. So you can store them in the jars, but they aren't going to last long term. Those would be stored for short-term food storage. If you want to use the plastic containers, first of all, make sure they have a screw-on lid, that they've only ever held food, and look on the bottom for the PET or PETE recycling label. Those are the types of containers that are safe for storing food. What happens if you have extra containers and no more food? Fill them up with water. We know as preppers that water is the most important prepping supply we can have, and we're going to need water to go with all of this food. Don't store your empty jars with air. Fill them with water so that they're taking up useful space. Food storage doesn't have to be complicated. It just takes a little effort to make sure that we're putting aside the things that we know we need, so we'll always be able to make the best of whatever comes our way. If you liked my video, I hope you'll share it with someone else you think might enjoy it. Learn more at alaskagranny.com, and please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.